One of the most challenging tasks we must face when we start a diet or make radical eating changes is reducing or eliminating the desire to have soft drinks or sugary foods. This fact has a fundamental scientific evolutionary basis. If we go back to our species' origins, our ancestors had difficulty feeding themselves. Life was short and brutal. They rarely got proteins and much less the precious sugar essential for survival. When we receive a dose of sugar, our primitive brain accepts it as a reward and secretes many endorphins because the subconscious message introduced is, "Here is your dose of sweet. It will help you survive a few more days. Take advantage of it." The difference between our ancestors and us is that the sugar available to them came from fruit or other natural foods. Modern humans have access to that kind of raw sugar, but apart from that, a vast industry offers all kinds of processed food with refined sugar in them. This type of sugar goes through a very aggressive refining process. The factories treat it with chemicals harmful to the health, such as phosphoric acid or sulfur dioxide, to achieve its white color and sandy texture. As you can see, this artificial substance has little or nothing to do with what traditionally fed and energized primitive man, but our brain cannot tell the difference. Besides, refined sugar is entirely devoid of nutrients. It has no vitamins, minerals, or enzymes. You don't need to be a nutrition expert. You don't need to know precisely what vitamins, minerals, and enzymes can do. The only thing you need to know is that they are part of what the body needs to be healthier and function well. They help you have beautiful skin, long, healthy hair, strong nails, etc. White sugar gives you none of these things. It has zero nutritional value. Now, this does not end here. The worst part is that sugar robs you of those minerals, vitamins, and enzymes you have in your body. It is also highly hazardous for people with diabetes. Now you know what a dangerous practice it is to consume refined sugar in our daily life. It is the first thing we should eliminate from our diet. In this video, we will help you find a way never to have sugar cravings again. We will explain how to give it up without it being an impossible task, and above all, with a practical method that you have never seen before. Why is sugar so addictive? Sugar is a drug, and we must perceive it as such. If you take away drugs from an addict, the most typical response they will have is strikes and violence towards you. That is precisely what happens when we try to give up sugar. Our body hits us with a violent desire to consume it again, and it offers us immediate gratification when we devour it. When we want to quit sugar, the first difficulty we face is having to confront our own belief system. We have deeply rooted thoughts and behaviors regarding sugar consumption because society has exposed us to them since we were children. One of the primary beliefs is that the brain needs sugar to function, and this one is widespread. The idea that sugar gives you energy is entirely wrong, so you must reprogram your brain to stop believing it does. The brain, the muscles, and the rest of the body do not need sugar to work, but glucose, like many other fuels, exists in different qualities. There is lousy quality glucose, medium quality glucose, and good quality glucose. Often, after a person gets diagnosed with diabetes, it becomes an uphill road just trying to leave the sugar out of their diet. If you have diabetes and you need to stop sugar cravings, then you need to keep watching this video until the end. When you enter the process of unhooking yourself, you should be aware of something called withdrawal syndrome. Some of the symptoms experienced during this syndrome include feeling tired, irritable, and sick. You will most likely enter a state of anxiety that will drive you to eat something with sugar. Be aware that all of these symptoms are normal, and if you fight them successfully, it will be more difficult for your system to go back to sweets. Nevertheless, your body will find subtle and brilliant strategies to make you crave sweets, and your brain will send messages to explain to you in a compelling way why you should not give up sugar, because after all, it's not that harmful. Now, what happens if that strategy does not succeed? What happens if you stay strong and start cleaning your body from refined sugars? In that case, your brain will go for the second strategy, craving carbohydrates, cookies, rice, sweet cereals, and all kinds of processed food. When processed food enters your body, flour, rice, and other complex carbohydrates convert to sugar. That is why your body will want to turn to those types of foods after you start living a sugar-free life, as it will continue to seek its sugar high through this complex carbohydrate intake. That is why we feel an insistent demand for foods such as French fries, pizza, pasta, or bread. Keep in mind that this is another of the symptoms of withdrawal. To reduce the risk of complex carbohydrate cravings, make sure your sugar withdrawal process is gradual and slow. Now, let's stop sugar cravings forever. The first thing we recommend is getting yourself a calendar, a planner, or just use your phone's notes to keep track of your plan to unhook yourself from sugar. You must stick to a program at the beginning. Write down the usual or expected things, like cravings, and talk about how you feel during the day, your progress, what you have eaten, if you have relapsed, etc. You will, from now on, keep a journal. Writing down your progress helps you be more aware of the path you are following. Look back and see where you are and where you are going next. That will motivate you whenever you face a tough day or feel like you may fall for sugar again. Take at least a week to write down everything that belongs to the table sugar category. In this section include white sugar, jam, soft drinks, ice cream, among others. The intention is that at the end of a whole week, you will know where your consumption levels are so that you can program the rhythm at which you are going to lower them. Then, you will go through 5 different stages. Each one should have a duration of 3 weeks minimum. Plan the cleaning process in 3 weeks for each step. For example, if you drink coffee with 3 spoonfuls of sugar, start the first week by adding 2 spoonfuls to your coffee instead of 3. Please do not try to rush this process because it will be much easier to fall into temptation if you do. You can use this rule of 3 for many things. The 3 sodas you drink a day, the 3 parts of jam you add to your toast, the 3 slices of pizza you eat for dinner, and so on. First stage. The first stage is the longest. It is eliminating refined sugar, the worst and most addictive enemy you will encounter. It causes chronic inflammation in the body. This inflammation causes acidification, which is the mother of all great evils and produces most diseases such as cancer. We recommend you do not hurry this step. Take 3 weeks minimum to complete it. This step may be the longest, but it's the most important. It is better to go slowly and do it well than to quit halfway. Second stage. In the second stage, you will quit eating buns and ultra-processed foods. It would be best if you stopped buying all these processed breads, buns, muffins, cinnamon roll, pizza dough, snacks, chips, and everything that isn't natural, homemade, or sugar-free. This step does not have to be as long as the first one, since your body will have already lowered the sugar levels, but it should be at least 3 weeks. The best way to go through step 2 is to have an inventory of how much you eat and reduce quantities week by week. Third stage. Here you will attack all refined flours. At this point, you must differentiate between wholemeal foods and those that are not. A food is wholemeal when the wheat has not had its husk removed during processing and therefore retains all of its nutrients. An essential characteristic of this type of food is that because it's rich in fibers, its digestion is slower, and therefore it is healthier and takes away our hunger. It is advisable to substitute any bread, rice, or pasta for their whole wheat versions or their gluten-free versions in this step. Fourth stage. Now it's time to reduce the foods with a high glycemic index, GI, such as starchy vegetables, potatoes and sweet potatoes, ripe fruits, especially dates and figs, and store-bought juices. Replace them with slow-burning, simple carbohydrates such as green vegetables, lentils, red beans, cherries, plums, and make your juices at home without sugar. Your goal is to burn that sugar slowly because it will give you stable and lasting energy. There will not be energy peaks and therefore no cravings either. The fifth and final step. When you reach step 5, you will no longer want sweets. Your body will not ask for them, and you will not need them. At this level, you can eat fruits. Always be aware of how much you eat. Plus, you will control the consumption of sweeteners such as honey, stevia, and dates. it is essential not to mistakenly substitute all the sugar with sweeteners, as the purpose of all of the previous steps will be lost. Once you have overcome these 5 stages, you will no longer need any soft drinks or adding sugar to your preparations. You will eat wholemeal flours and foods rich in fibers. You will have reached a superb point in your life. Remember, once you stop sugar cravings, you will have complete control over sugars and carbohydrates and not the other way around. So much for today's video. We hope these tips help you and you can say goodbye to sugar forever. Your path to defeat type 2 diabetes can start today. The first step is to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this with everyone you know so the truth can spread everywhere. If you suffer from type 2 diabetes, click the link below this video to discover a diet program to reverse type 2 diabetes. Your new life can start today.